Another scandal for Letitia James, the New York Attorney General who went after President Trump, is accused of letting terrorists get paid. Thanks for joining us today on Spin Room. Good to see you. I'm Vanessa Broussard. Letitia James is facing serious questions over a $9.6 billion sanctions evasion scandal. A major case now in the U.S. Second Circuit Court reveals that Standard Chartered Bank, with a key branch in New York City, funneled billions in illegal payments to entities tied to Iran and Hezbollah, both under U.S. sanctions. Documents show AG James was made aware of these payments, but they say she did nothing. This is a stunning failure to enforce federal sanctions. And now James and the Federal Reserve are accused of turning a blind eye. While terror-linked regimes cashed in, there are whistleblowers who worked for the bank working with authorities on this. Letitia James has not publicly commented on this case, but this isn't the only controversy surrounding Letitia James. As you remember, she's also facing accusations of mortgage fraud connected to a property she financed while serving in public office. Authorities say she misrepresented financial details. So together with the $9.6 billion sanctions scandal, it's fueling calls for deeper investigations into her actions and whether she's abusing the same laws that she's sworn to enforce. Now, in this case, she has said that everyone knows those allegations are baseless. So we'll continue to follow up and keep you posted. So here's what people are saying online under my breaking news post from last night. RMA says this: as with all breaking news about corrupt Democrat players involved in crime, money laundering, falsifying documents to target Trump, abuse of power, and their nonstop corruption, nothing will come of it. Bill says this: for the love of God, and then tags AG Pam Bondi, throw this corrupt waste of oxygen in prison. Richard Jones commented, why has she not been arrested yet? And someone who goes by the name Communist Exposer wrote this: when you get greedy, low IQ DEI hires in positions of power, they will sell out your country just to get rich and to have the pleasure of watching it burn. We have a corruption problem, he says. You too can join the conversation. Follow me on X at Vanessa B News. And we're happy to announce a big win for Mike Lindell today. A federal appeals court has tossed out a $5 million arbitration ruling against Mike, declaring the arbitrators overstepped their bounds by rewriting the terms of his 2021 Cyber Symposium Election Integrity Challenge. So what this means is that the ruling directly undermines the media narrative used to discredit Mike's claims about the 2020 election. He calls the decision a miracle and a massive vindication of the data he presented, which the establishment tried to bury. Mike is heading to D.C. and will be giving us updates there from the ground, so make sure you are tuned in for that. So please report there in the fight against the deep state. Now to newly released documents from Tulsi Gabbard. She's dropping bombs left and right, proving that the Russia hoax was fabricated and made up lies to bring down Trump. Today, she declassified a House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence report, claiming Putin and Russia government did not aspire to help Trump with the 2016 election. With the reaction is attorney and conservative activist Keith Gross. Keith, thanks so much for joining us today. This is getting better by the day. If you look at what was released today, it says Russia did not aspire to help Trump, but Obama later ordered a rewrite of Intel to say that it. So first it said no, but then it's saying that Obama later ordered it to say it did. Not looking good for him today. What's your take on this?
Well, it's not looking good for Obama at all. I mean, this appears to be one of the worst abuses of presidential authority, perhaps in our history. This makes Watergate look tame. If you watched the press conference recently held by Tulsi Gabbard, she went into great detail about these documents and how not only was there no evidence that Russia was working to help Donald Trump get elected, they were in fact looking forward to a Hillary Clinton win because they had dirt on her. Then you saw in the evidence that was released that Like you said, the intelligence report at the time did not show any evidence of Russia collusion with Donald Trump, and Obama ordered them to go and rewrite it to fit his political narrative. If that's not treason, I don't know what is.
Yeah, and President Trump has said it over and over again that Obama is the mastermind behind this. He commented that just this week. He says others are at fault as well. Let's take a listen to what Trump had to say.
Director of National Intelligence. Oh, where's Tulsi? She's like hotter than everybody. She's the hottest one in the room right now because she found out with certainty. I think we knew it before, in all fairness, Tulsi. But now you have certainty. She has all the documents. She has everything that you need. And she found out that Barack Hussein Obama led a group of people and they cheated in the elections, and they cheated without question. It's not even a would you say there's even a little question there, Tulsi? She says no. And you found things that nobody thought we'd ever find. And very happy and very honored to have you with us. She's right now, by far, Speaker, she's hotter than you right now, Speaker. She's the hottest person in the room right now, Speaker. So, Tulsi, great job. And I know you have a lot more coming. She told me you've seen nothing yet. So I heard those rumors about you, but now I know they're true. So we're very proud of you, Tulsi. They cheated so badly, and ultimately it led to a loss in 2020. And it shouldn't have been a loss. It was a big victory. We won by a lot. We had to do it again. But if I thought we lost, I would never have run again. And this is a far more consequential election than it would have been if we did. That's the only thing I can say in favor of it. But
yeah, and so that was him saying that Tulsi is the hottest person in the room right now. And, Keith, I have to agree, she's on fire right now.
She is on fire. She's doing some important work for the president's administration and really picking up where Kash Patel and Rick Grinnell left off at the end of the last term when they were working to declassify those Crossfire Hurricane documents. That's one of the things that a lot of us believe the DOJ was after when they went to the unprecedented step of raiding Donald Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago. Now it's clear that that didn't work. Tulsi Gabbard's out there. She's sending the documents out to the DOJ, and hopefully we'll see some indictments of these corrupt Obama officials.
Yeah, and we're hoping for that. The American people are hoping for that. It was a huge surprise today, Keith, when Tulsi Gabbard showed up at the press conference with Caroline Leavitt. Usually Caroline's by herself, and standing right behind her today was Tulsi Gabbard, and she gave a speech that would knock you off your feet. Let's see what she has to say now regarding Obama. Take a listen to this.
At President Trump's direction and with the support and coordination with the House Intelligence Committee Chairman Rick Crawford, today we've released a declassified oversight majority staff report that was produced in September of 2020. The stunning revelations that we are releasing today should be of concern to every American. This is not about Democrats or Republicans. This has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic and American voters having faith that the votes cast will count. There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true. It wasn't. The report that we released today shows in great detail how they carried this out. They manufactured findings from shoddy sources. They suppressed evidence and credible intelligence that disproved their false claims. They disobeyed traditional tradecraft intelligence community standards and withheld the truth from the American people. In doing so, they conspired to subvert the will of the American people who elected Donald Trump in that election in November of 2016. They worked with their partners in the media to promote this lie, ultimately to undermine the legitimacy of President Trump and launching what would be a years-long coup against him and his administration. We're here today because the American people deserve the truth, they deserve accountability, and they deserve justice.
Keith, your take on that?
I agree. We all deserve justice. We want accountability. If we let the things that happened under the Obama administration go unanswered, what sort of message does that send? I mean, we saw our U.S. intelligence apparatus weaponized against then candidate Trump, plant false intelligence, and ultimately derail his first term. This was completely wrong. We've all known it was wrong, and now accountability is on the way.
Yeah, and it's not good to be Obama today. And you know, he's not the only one. Hillary's name was brought up as well. I was actually getting text messages from friends today as Tulsi was speaking at the podium, and Hillary was a big topic amongst so many people. Take a listen to what she had to say.
The report goes into great detail about the information that Russia and Putin had on Hillary Clinton, which included possible criminal acts like secret meetings with multiple named U.S. religious organizations in which State Department officials offered, in exchange for supporting Secretary Clinton's campaign for the presidency, significant increases in financing from the State Department. They also had documents that showed the patronage of the State Department to State Department employees who would go and support Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. There were high-level DNC emails that detailed evidence of Hillary's, quote, psycho-emotional problems, uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness, and that then Secretary Clinton was allegedly on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers. Then CIA Director Brennan and the intelligence community mischaracterized intelligence and relied on dubious substandard sources to create a contrived false narrative that Putin developed a quote-unquote clear preference for Trump.
So Keith, was this a scheme amongst several friends putting this together against President Trump?
It seems like it was a pretty widespread scheme. I mean, this, you recall the Steele dossier and how that was essentially funded by the Clinton campaign. And then, as Tulsi Gabbard pointed out, it's not just that Russia was not helping Donald Trump. It's that they wanted Hillary Clinton to be elected, and they were going to wait until she was elected and then reveal all of the negative information they had about her in hopes of getting a better negotiating position with the United States. So the idea that the Obama administration would corrupt all of the accurate intelligence and completely twist reality and pitch a false story to Americans, that should upset everyone. And I mean, at this point, I suppose we're not surprised. We're pretty accustomed to Democrats doing corrupt things. We were just talking about Letitia James and her corruption, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. We've got to start holding people accountable, or we're not going to see change in America.
You know, in 2016, President Trump came out in the beginning and said he wanted to drain the swamp. And here we are in 2025, and he has this team in there, Tulsi Gabbard, just coming at them left and right, revealing what we felt like we knew all along, but it's finally coming to light. And so, every day there's a little more that they're giving us and a little more that they're giving us. And so what do you think will happen next? If you're President Obama, Hillary Clinton, obviously you're lawyering up.
They better be lawyering up, because there's going to be a lot of subpoenas, a lot of investigation going on. Draining the swamp is not an easy task. God bless President Trump and his efforts to do that. I'm thankful we have a president who's willing to disrupt the status quo, who isn't looking the other way, who's willing to work to drain that swamp. As any Florida man can tell you, draining the swamp sounds easier than it is, because gators bite back, and those folks in the swamp, they're going to fight back too. So we have to make sure that we have President Trump's back, that we back him up with our friends, our neighbors, and that the DOJ does their job and runs this down all the way to sentencing.
You mentioned the subpoenas coming up. Representative Anna Paulina Luna from Florida, she actually put that out today. She said this: as soon as we return from break, I'll be calling for a subpoena through the GOP oversight for Comey, John Brennan, and James Clapper regarding their roles in the fraudulent Russia hoax. She says this: retain your attorneys now and start raising money. You're going to need it. It's very unfortunate, Keith, that they're going on break for such a long period of time, because, we've got the momentum right now and we really don't need to slow down.
It is unfortunate that they're going to go on break. I wish they would pause that, because there's a lot of work to do. Unfortunately, the reality is all those subpoenas are going to be met with people sitting in a chair and taking the Fifth Amendment. We're already seeing it with the Biden administration auto pen. That investigation is also being held right now by the House committees. And the staffers that essentially undertook a coup and took over control of our country via auto pen have already been raising their Fifth Amendment rights in response to subpoenas.
Yes, and we're going to get to more of that here in a little bit on Spin Room. And you brought up the auto pen. Our reporter in D.C., Allison Steinberg, was able to ask Caroline Leavitt about that yesterday. Let's take a listen to Caroline Leavitt's response because this auto pen is something that Lindell TV broke last year. We asked about it in a press conference, in a press briefing. Caroline Leavitt responded. Then Trump took off with it, and here we are really investigating the auto pen scandal. Let's go to that and take a listen to what Caroline had to say just yesterday.
Sure. Any insight as to when the auto pen pardons may be invalidated? And if so, does the president have any plans to ultimately arrest Fauci? This is critical to the fact base.
I don't have any information about the pardons, but I have told you and will say again, the White House counsel's office is investigating the potential abuse of the auto pen from the previous administration. This is a really important question to get to the bottom of, and the White House is working with the Department of Justice to do that.
Yeah, so when are these pardons coming, or these pardons weren't legit. So when are they going to come out with that? Because how hard is it? And I'm sure they're really investigating this because it is a huge deal and a huge crime if he in fact used an auto pen. But I don't think that this would be a very long investigation because you can tell the difference between when someone signs their name on a check with a pen versus when someone stamps their name on a check. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the use of the auto pen itself isn't necessarily improper. Much like we use electronic signatures in everyday life with DocuSign or something, the key is that there is a knowing authorization to affix that signature to a given document. And the reason that's a problem for Biden is that he's now put his foot in his mouth. Big surprise, right? But he gave an interview to Fox News where he outright stated that he did not know the names on the documents that were being signed by auto pen. Well, you can't consent to something if you don't know what it says. So back to that DocuSign example, it would be the equivalent of a contract being sent to you for signature, but your 8-year-old kid logging in and clicking sign, sign, sign on your email. That wouldn't be a binding signature because you didn't give your authorization. It doesn't matter that it's got your name at the bottom of the page.
Right. And so, other people who should be sweating it out right now, Fauci, he's the main one that the Americans want to get cleared of this pardon, because people still aren't happy about what happened during COVID-19. And he pardoned Fauci, apparently. But we don't think that he did because it was an auto pen probably that was used. So people like Fauci should be shaking in their boots today as well.
I imagine they are because the possibility of undoing all of those pardons is real. If the DOJ is able to assert and get evidence that shows that Biden did not give consent for the use of that auto pen, then the auto pen signature is invalid and any document that had it attached to it would be invalid. So you bet you're right. The folks like Fauci who are relying on immunity via those pardons, they should be concerned because as soon as the pardons are removed from the process, they're going to be indicted.
I want to bring this up before we let you go, Keith. Ghislaine Maxwell was just a subpoena was issued for her in the Epstein investigation. That is going to be huge. I believe she is going to be subpoenaed to Florida on August 11th. That just coming into the Lindell TV studios, breaking the Epstein situation. The saga there is going to continue because the Americans are hammering away at getting answers in that case as well.
And let's hope they do. The odd thing about this whole Epstein information that's gone missing is that now apparently they are seeking information that only this particular witness has, potentially offering her some deal to provide that information to the government. It begs the question, what happened to all of these records that the Democrats had under the Biden administration, the Obama administration, and then as soon as Trump gets into office, they sent something over to Pam Bondi's office, and obviously it wasn't the records they expected to have, because now they're having to run down a witness to get information that we all expected the government to already know.
Yeah, so we'll be keeping our eyes out on that. Again, mark your calendars, America. August 11th, Ghislaine Maxwell in Florida for a subpoena. Keith, so good to see you. Thanks for coming on today. You're on X. Tell everyone how they can follow you.
Yeah, follow me on X. I'm on all social media platforms at Keith Gross FL, and I'd love to engage with you more on there.
All right, sounds good. Keith, thanks so much for joining us today. And with Keith, we just talked about Joe Biden's administration, his staff who are being subpoenaed to come in and give their depositions. They're pleading the fifth. Pleading the fifth is just about all the former Biden administration knows how to do. We've reported on how his doctor and Jill Biden's aide, they won't answer any questions. They just plead the fifth. Well, now Joe Biden's former advisor, Annie Tomasini, has her turn. And guess what? She too pled the fifth. Take a look.
Ms. Tomasini, did you ever advise President Biden on the handling of classified documents found in his garage?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
The record will reflect that Ms. Tomasini has invoked the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Ms. Tomasini, please be very clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Ms. Tomasini, did President Joe Biden or anyone else in the White House instruct you to conceal or destroy classified material found at President Biden's home or office?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
The record will reflect that Ms. Tomasini has invoked the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Ms. Tomasini, to be clear, are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Ms. Tomasini, have you ever conspired with anyone in the White House to hide information regarding the Biden family's business dealings?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
The record will reflect that Ms. Tomasini has invoked the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Ms. Tomasini, to be clear, are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Sounds like a broken record. Pretty boring there, right? Well, that's what they do. What are they hiding? Why won't they answer? We'll see what comes about in all of these investigations. But as for President Trump, he has had a successful 6 months. He's not pleading the fifth on everything. The wins are racking up for him day by day. The celebration, the milestone, the achievements. Here's Caroline Levitt earlier this afternoon.
Also this week, the president officially marked 6 months here at the White House. He made big promises to the American people on the campaign trail last year, and he has unquestionably delivered on those promises in record time. The president has defeated the Biden inflation crisis to make America affordable again. Core inflation is currently at its lowest level in 4 years, and prices for everyday goods are falling. The president's pro-growth policies have fueled massive job growth across our country. Since the president has taken office, our economy has added nearly 700,000 new jobs, with native-born American workers accounting for all job gains. The president has put the economic needs of families and of workers first. He signed the largest tax cuts for the middle class in American history, including no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security. We have also seen the president unquestionably deliver on his promise to secure our southern border. He has ended Biden's illegal alien invasion, and for 2 months in a row, 0 illegal aliens were released into our country. The president has also, as you all know, initiated the largest mass deportation campaign in American history. The president has also restored law and order to make America safe again, another campaign promise he vowed to the American public. The United States of America is currently on track for its lowest murder rate on record, following this shift from the last administration to the Trump administration. The president has also ended Joe Biden's reckless war on American energy. U.S. oil and natural gas production are now surging, and summer gas prices reached their lowest level since 2021. The president has also rebuilt our military, another campaign promise. He just signed the largest military investment in decades to modernize our armed forces with cutting-edge technology to replenish our stockpiles and provide American troops with the best equipment in the world. The U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, and Space Force have all reached their recruitment goals months in advance. The president has restored America's standing on the world stage, brought back peace through strength, and brokered numerous peace agreements to end wars. Again, all of this in just 6 months. He obliterated Iran's nuclear program to end the war between Israel and Iran, got NATO members to raise their defense spending to 5% of GDP, and secured a ceasefire between India and Pakistan, as well as brokering a historic agreement between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The president has already received 3 different Nobel Peace Prize nominations for his peacemaking efforts. Again, all of this progress, all of these accomplishments have occurred in just 6 months. We are truly just getting started, and we look forward to working with all of you for the next 3.5 years.
What a list, right? At this time, the president is giving remarks at an AI summit that's happening right now, and there he will sign more executive orders. The president has been a huge advocate for artificial intelligence. Caroline Leavitt saying today that President Trump's executive order will be a plan to sustain and enhance America's AI dominance. Now to the latest on the Tina Peters case, which we've been following closely here on Spin Room. The former Mesa County, Colorado clerk had a bond hearing yesterday in Denver. She was not present, but her attorneys gave their reasonings to the judge on why she should be let out on bond while awaiting an appeal. They told the judge she's not a criminal. She's an American hero who simply wanted to make sure the 2020 election was run correctly in her county. No ruling came down yesterday. The judge says he'll review the filings and other matters that need to be filed. So let's bring in Patrick Colbeck with more on this. Patrick, good to see you. It was a packed house yesterday. The courtroom was full. The overflow room was standing room only. The people want Tina Peters out of jail. What are your thoughts?
Well, that's exactly right. She's been in there for far too long. What was happening in the courtroom yesterday with the federal magistrate judge, I think his name is Bar Horlak, was an appeal to have Tina released from jail on bond while her state appeals court was awaiting a hearing. So really what it's trying to do is get her out of jail. She's 69 years old. She's in with a bunch of folks guilty of serious crimes, and many of us, including myself and yourself and many others, know for a fact that Tina was simply doing her duty as a clerk to preserve the election records, and yet she's sitting there right now serving a 9-year prison sentence. So, yeah, there's a big clamor for people to get for Tina to get out of prison. This is one mechanism to go off and do that, and it was an attempt by Peter Tickton, her lawyer, to file a motion to get her released on bond while she awaits the Court of Appeals hearing.
And the attorney and the judge went back and forth, and for a lot of people, it's a lot of talk, court legal talk. What different avenues can she take now? I know she's fighting for her First Amendment rights, also the case that she is an elderly woman, deteriorating her health is, while she just sits in a jail cell, they're saying with murderers and other criminals. And again, this is not who Tina Peters is. So what kind of avenues can they take? I know they filed the habeas corpus. Anything else they can do to, try to get her out of jail while this appeal is pending?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind for everybody is that they say, hey, can't President Trump issue a pardon for Tina? And unfortunately, no, because Tina was tried in a state court system, federal, and President Trump has authority only in federal cases. However, a lot of people, the avenue that is being pursued is the fact that there are cases where when somebody's civil rights are violated by the state system, and in this case, if you actually look at the comments of the district court judge during Tina's court case, where he went off on a tirade talking about her not being a hero, saying that she had deliberately violated the law, and she wouldn't have done anything different. It was very vindictive, and it was in line with what other state officials in Colorado have been pushing for, is to make an example out of Tina. You can make the case that it was potentially malicious prosecution that drove not only her conviction, but also drove the extreme sentencing of 9 years, especially against the backdrop of a Colorado Secretary of State, Jenna Griswold, who essentially had hundreds of examples of what they're accusing Tina of, which is compromising the security of our voting systems by having passwords available to these election systems, I think in pretty much all 64 counties in the state of Colorado, while Tina was only the county clerk for one county, obviously, and yet nothing happened to Jenna Griswold. So there's this disparity in prosecution that when you tie that to some of the statements made not only by the judge, but state officials like Jenna Griswold and the Attorney General of Colorado, you've got the potential case for a civil rights violation that could be filed up at the federal level. And keep in mind, I'm an engineer, I'm not a lawyer. So I want to put that caveat in there, but I'm exploring all the different avenues, just like all the rest of the meddling kids all across the country. And this appears to have some legs and something that we could possibly do. And I think that was kind of the start of it, was the habeas corpus filing by Peter Tickton, Tina's lawyer here. The other thing that everybody can go off and do, of course, is something that I've done and many other people have done, which is make an appeal directly to Governor Polisat in Colorado and say, you do have the authority to pardon Tina Peters. You do have, unlike President Trump, as the governor in the state of Colorado, you have the authority to release her, and there's plenty of reason, including the omission of the ability to introduce exculpatory evidence in Tina's case by the judge that was presiding, that essentially said that she couldn't testify to her duties as a clerk to preserve election records. That's kind of a biggie, because that's what she's accused of compromising the security of. So I think that avenue is a more than enough justification for Governor Polis to go off and issue a pardon. But anyway, those are the three avenues that I've seen so far, and I'm sure there's others that some real legal experts like your previous guest, Keith, could probably delve into. But the bottom line is we all want Tina out of jail. She never should be in jail. She shouldn't be in prison. She did the right thing, and she should be released as soon as possible.
Right, and when you look at, Tina Peters, Mike Lindell, they're just fighting for safe voting systems and ways to vote. And so you heard, Patrick, about Mike Lindell's big win today. Your take on that?
Oh, well, he was vindicated for his contest where he dared somebody to prove him wrong at the Cyber Symposium with the information he had, and the judge rightly, in the appeals court decision, rightly decided that in the arbitration agreement that previously had held Mike culpable for $5 million, they actually changed the terms of the contest in order to satisfy the person who submitted the arbitration claim. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but what it is a big victory. And what I like about what's really telling about where we're standing right now in America is that when Mike was found liable for $5 million by the arbitration panel, that was front page news all across America. It's featured in court case after court case, trying to undermine Mike's credibility. Yet now that Mike has been exonerated by the appeals ruling, I don't know about you, but if it wasn't for Lindell TV, I don't think too many people would be hearing about this. And that's the challenge we're still facing in America right now, is how do you get the truth out to people? How do you address this use of information to tarnish somebody's credibility, like has Mike's been targeted. And I'll tell you, this is anyway. It's a good day, and we need to celebrate that. But it highlights the bigger picture of how our media is being weaponized against election integrity advocates all across America. And you have to ask, why is that so important to them to suppress this truth? Because we're being vindicated time after time after time. When the truth comes out, we're on the winning side of it, but they don't want that truth to come out.
No, because to them, we're just conspiracy theorists and we don't know what we're talking about. And so you're right. They don't want the truth to come out. Just like today during Tulsi Gabbard's speech at the press conference, CNN cut her off. And it makes you wonder, it's trending all over social media right now. Why did CNN cut away? The American people wanted to know. They've been asking for the information. We voted to have all of this information released. So as she's releasing this information, CNN cuts away. So you're right. I mean, the news does not want you to know the truth.
Yeah, the best solution is to cut away from news sources like CNN because of that, like
Right.
the Washington Post and others that decide to push a one-sided narrative. You can always tell a good news source because they're going to actually provide the supporting information. I mean, you're showing the news clips of what they actually said rather than some ginned up headline about what somebody said about what they said. So always go to the source information, and when you do that, you can stand pretty tall. And everybody, I want to make sure everybody understands the big picture on this stuff is that this isn't just conjecture that I'm talking about the weaponization information in the country. We have an example of the United States Congress Weaponization of Government Committee releasing a report on an organization called the Election Integrity Partnership, which was a consortium of federal authorities, universities, the voting system manufacturers, and a bunch of other stakeholders, big media, big tech, that were all designed to suppress the release of information about what really happened in the 2020 election. And they put out a big report. You guys can go off and look it up yourself. This isn't just me talking about it. They put out a report that highlighted how the federal government colluded with these organizations to censor free speech. That's in direct violation of the First Amendment on so many different levels. And right now, as of this point, they're getting away with it. But I think you're starting to see with Tulsi's revelations, with Mike's vindication, and other things that you can't suppress the truth forever. It's going to pop up, and we're going to hold you accountable.
Yeah, and while we're talking about that, while I have you here, I want to bring up the big news coming out of Michigan today regarding top government officials being subpoenaed. I know you've been working on this closely. What can you tell us there?
Yeah, so at the beginning of this legislative session, the Michigan House voted to grant the Michigan Oversight Committee, which is controlled by Republicans, permanent subpoena authority. And they've been using that subpoena authority to investigate corrupt state officials. Right now, they're digging into the Michigan Attorney General, whose quote-unquote partner has been implicated in receiving special campaign finance contribution discretion from the Michigan Secretary of State, and they're investigating that. They've also asked for training materials that were issued to election officials in the state, because election officials are assuming that these training materials are all lawful, that they comply with the law. And what we're finding, and what we found in 7 separate court decisions in the state of Michigan, is that our Secretary of State issues unlawful directives to our local clerks, and the local clerks are assuming that they're all lawful. And so this is a big deal. So they've issued subpoenas for all the training materials, and that have been sent to been used to instruct our local clerks. And the Secretary of State only provided some of those materials. And obviously, what are the odds that the materials she's withholding are the ones that are not compliant with the law? And so we've had some court rulings that have reaffirmed the subpoena authority of the legislature. And so looking forward to some compliance finally with our state officials like the Michigan Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson. with these subpoenas, because I can assure you that if I had my way, there's a lot more subpoenas on the way, and I believe our elected officials are going to be requesting those soon, and they're going to highlight all the problems that we have in the Michigan election system, and it's going to further reinforce the findings of you and other meddling kids like myself all across the country that our elections are not secure and that they've been compromised going all the way back to at least the 2020 election.
That's big news coming out of Michigan today. I'm glad you came on today to tell us about that, because that just came in. Patrick, please keep us updated on what happens there. I know you follow it closely. And as always, it's always a pleasure to have you here on Spin Room. Thanks for joining us today.
Great to be with you, Vanessa, and a great celebration that Mike got vindicated in that Court of Appeals ruling. Or that
you know, he's in a good mood today. Yes, because same thing like in Colorado. It was a huge win for MyPillow, and then today another great announcement. So hopefully the trend keeps going for Mike Lindell.
Not tired of winning.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Thank you so much for being here with us. And more to come here on Spin Room, a big announcement in the fight against unnecessary children's vaccines. That's in our Maha Mom segment coming up next. And as we go to break, a reminder that you can follow me and Lindell TV on all social media. We are there breaking stories 24/7. All of these platforms. Vocal, which is Mike Lindell's social media platform. That's VOCL. You can download that app. Truth Social, X, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our channels on YouTube as well, and we will be right back.
Friends, we all know the truth. Big Pharma and the federal bureaucracy have made a mess of healthcare in this country, and boy, that's an understatement. President Trump signed an executive order to bring prices down, and that's a great step. But we know that real change takes time. There's one pharmacy that is already stepping up. I want to tell you about All Family Pharmacy. They're not waiting. They're taking action now with a summer sale that gives you the power to take control of your health. Right now, through the end of June, you get 20% off site-wide, no insurance required. Did you hear that? 20% off, site-wide, no insurance required. They work with licensed doctors in all 50 states, and they ship fast, straight to your door. Whether it's ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, methylene blue, antibiotics, emergency kits, or your daily prescriptions, this is a time to stock up. If you believe in medical freedom, if you're tired of waiting for someone else to fix things, do what I do. Take action. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Lindell and use promo code Lindell20, Lindell 20 for 20% off your entire order. That's allfamilypharmacy.com/Lindell. Promo code Lindell20. Let's protect our families, defend our freedom, and make America healthy again together.
With everybody talking about making America healthy again, I thought today'd be a great day to talk to all my fellow patriots about the importance of making your homes healthy again. Well, we have proudly partnered with airwaterhealing.com and their revolutionary whole home air purification system. The V3 from Air Water Healing does 3,000 square feet of purification. It eliminates dust, mold, viruses, and odors. But here's the part I love. They require no filters to ever be changed and virtually no maintenance. Whether you suffer from asthma, allergies, seasonal bronchitis, or just want to protect your family from the flu or even greater threats, don't wait to get your V3 from airwaterhealing.com today. Use code Lindell for 20% off in savings and free shipping. That's promo code Lindell at airwaterhealing.com.
Hi, everybody. I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS Secretary, and I'm here today with NIH Director Dr. Jay Bhattacharya and FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty Makary. I couldn't be more pleased to announce that as of today, the COVID vaccine for healthy children and healthy pregnant women has been removed from the CDC recommended immunization schedule. Last year, the Biden administration urged healthy children to get yet another COVID shot despite the lack of any clinical data to support the repeat booster strategy in children.
That ends today. It's common sense and it's good science.
There's no evidence healthy kids need it today, and most countries have stopped recommending it for children.
We're now one step closer to realizing President Trump's promise to make America healthy again.
Produced by the U.S. Department.
There you have it, a major announcement from Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who says the federal government has removed the COVID-19 shots from the childhood immunization schedule. As you know, Kennedy is a longtime critic of vaccine mandates. He has built much of his MAHA campaign around issues of caring for our bodies and mistrust in federal health institutions. Those are messages that has resonated with a lot of us, wanting healthier lives for ourselves and also our babies. So good news there today. All right, there's a push in Washington to rename the Kennedy Center Opera House in honor of First Lady Melania Trump. House Republicans have voted on the name change. Supporters say Melania is a refined symbol of elegance and cultural diplomacy, and that she has elevated the arts and deserves recognition at one of the nation's premier cultural venues. So great to see that Melania Trump is on her way to being honored in such a wonderful way. When we come back, a woman drives through a Catholic church in Texas. Intentional, but police aren't yet calling it a hate crime, and people online are sounding off. We'll take you there. Plus, a reminder to support Mike Lindell. You can go to mypillowtrial.com. As we've been telling you today, he is fighting left and right in different cases, and he has spent a lot of his personal funds in these fights. He has also helped so many people over the years for so many different reasons. If you needed something, he always had his hand out giving. So now it's our turn to give back to Mike. You can go to mypillowtrial.com, and if you scroll down on the webpage, there are different tabs you can punch, which will show you which dollar amount that you would like to give. And so there you can see those dollar amounts right there. It's a really easy process when you hit the donate now button. So if you can please donate to Mike Lindell as he continues to fight for election integrity and what's right in our country and melt down those machines and turn them into prison bars. Also, a reminder to go to mypillow.com. Lots of great products on my store, as you see right there, all made in the USA. U.S. entrepreneurs who Mike has chosen to be on mystore.com. But on mypillow.com, you have the energy drinks that people love. You have all of the great bedding, bathroom products, towels, slippers, you name it. And here's an extra deal for you. All you have to do is type in the promo code Vanessa for extra savings. Happy shopping to all of you, and we'll be right back.
Swollen limbs, joint pain, inflammation, skin aging, and cognitive decline. These are just a few of the awful side effects that you can experience due to poor blood circulation. And popping ibuprofen is not a solution to the pain. It's only temporary relief, and it's only masking the true problem, which is inflammation. Researchers are saying to add this Antarctic super nutrient to your diet. I'm talking about omega-3 fatty acids, but not just any form of omegas. These particular omega-3 fatty acids are sourced from wild-caught krill. Has been shown to support healthy blood pressure, circulation, brain health, as well as reduce inflammation, swelling, and joint pain. For a limited time, you can grab Native Path Antarctic Krill Oil for up to 66% off plus free shipping. Just go to getkrill.com/Lindell right now to get your special offer. Whether it's being a weekend warrior or spending time with your family, feeling your best is the key to doing the things you love. That's why I'm excited to tell you about Nirvanta. It's a natural solution designed to help you stay active and live well naturally. Nirvanta is a topical blend of all natural essential oils like frankincense, myrrh, and a proprietary gold standard plant stock extract. It's perfect for your hands, feet, knees, back, or anywhere else that needs a little extra care. Use Nirvanta proactively as part of your daily maintenance routine, and you're guaranteed you're going to feel the difference. Simply massage Nirvanta in for at least 60 seconds, 2 to 3 times a day to get the best results. And if you're not completely satisfied, you get your money back. No questions asked. There's simply no risk and no reason not to try Nirvanta today. Right now, you get 15% off with code Lindell exclusively at nirvantahealth.com. So stop reaching out for that medicine cabinet. Get Nirvanta instead and experience the difference. Go to nirvantahealth.com. Use code Lindell to get 15% off today. Nirvanta Health. Live well naturally.
Welcome back to Spin Room. Good to have you here with us on this Wednesday. This is how the market closed today over on Wall Street from MarketWatch.com. That is what you're looking at right now. A great day there. The Dow up 507 points. The S&P 500 up 49 points to close the day, and the NASDAQ up 127 points. Always love to see the green there on the big board. Well, this afternoon in Gaza, sad news to report, grief and devastation taking over the Catholic community. A Catholic church struck in the ongoing conflict with Israel. 3 lives lost in the blast. You're looking at pictures from funerals that are now being held for the victims. For those 3 who passed away, the faithful gathering, mourning not just the dead, but what remains of a sanctuary once thought safe. Families crying out in peace, even as the war rages on. And again, you know, so many people are saying there's an attack on Catholics in our world. In Texas, police say a woman ran through a Catholic church with her truck, not once, but twice, running over the pews and the sacred altar. You're looking at pictures here. Police are swifting through security video. They say the woman rammed through the doors into the church, through the pews, through the altar, backed up, and did it all again. They say this was intentional, but they're not yet calling it a hate crime against Catholics in this case. I posted this online on X, and people online are not happy about it. They are saying this is absolutely a hate crime. Join the conversation on X. The FBI in this case was called to the scene, and they are now investigating. And as always, we pray for the faithful and for the world. Today's Bible verse of the day comes from the book of Psalms. And it says this: "How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? But I have trusted in your loving kindness. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me." And that is your Bible verse of the day. And that'll do it for us here today on Spin Room. We want to end the show on a great note, a sweet note. I saw this over the weekend. It started trending. You've probably seen it too. Look at this. This is a picture from Nike. Pro golfer Scottie Scheffler's 1-year-old son, Bennett. He stole the show when his dad won the British Open. Nike put out this post about the cute moment, saying already winning at life. And what they're meaning here is that it's not about the game. It's not about a trophy. It's not about the purse. It's about being a father. And so that is what makes him already winning at life. So in case you missed the win and that celebration afterwards with little Bennett, we'll play it for you now. We'll leave it with that today. Enjoy it, and we'll see you right back here on Spin Room tomorrow.
A couple of interviews to do here. Sky Sports First. Bennett is on the loose. Here he comes. No! It's not easy up those slopes. First time learner right there. feeling that Bennett's going to grow up with a lot of hardware around him. It's going to be a cool shot for him to have forever, about the size of the Claire jug there. So he'll take it around.